Hello, happy Tuesday. This is Darren Roberts, Master Trainer at Impact Training Corporation and the Abundance Accelerant. Welcome to the Tuesday Tickle and Tick, show number 40. Today, what if your team don't believe that they can win? Now, of course, we're not talking about the mighty Adelaide Crows. They believe they can win. We're talking about you and your business target. What if you and your team are talking about targets that deep down you don't believe that you can achieve? Well, I'm going to show you a foolproof way to get them on board today. Of course, we're towards the end of the financial year. So if you've been following and implementing what I've been helping you with in the Tuesday Tickle and Tick, you would have already achieved your financial year targets by now. If you haven't, then let's do a quick recap. So we know that in the new financial year or any time, we set some goals, but just setting the goal isn't enough to get us to achieve it. We need to reverse engineer that process by using some simple key performance indicators to reverse engineer to work out what activity do we need to do on a daily and weekly and monthly basis to guarantee achieving our target. And that's called the planning for good days formula. And that'll create 2 or 3 things that you and your team need to do on a regular basis that will guarantee you hitting target. As I said, it's called the planning for good days formula. So if you've missed it, then go back to show 34 of the Tuesday Tickle and Tick and you can understand the planning for good days formula. And then last Tuesday Tickle and Tick, we spoke about how do we communicate those targets to our team members to have them on board. Because it's likely that they're not driven by the same things that you as the owner or director are driven by. So if we just communicate in our nature, we're probably not going to get them on board. So how do we communicate in a manner that motivates them? Again, go back to show number 39 and you'll be able to learn that. What if we do both? We've got a great structure and we communicate in a manner that gets them motivated, but deep down they don't believe they can achieve the target. What if they're nodding and giving you the right answers, but deep down they don't believe they can achieve your target? Well, let me give you an explanation from a co-presenter I was with on Friday. I had the privilege of presenting at a conference called FitX in Tasmania. And well done to Kiri Brasendale for putting on FitX. You did a great job. One of the other presenters there was Tasmanian Alastair Lynch. Now, for those of you that understand AFL football, you would know Alastair Lynch as 3-time premiership player for the Brisbane Lions. And Alastair shared some information from behind the scenes at the Brisbane Lions. They were going through a period where they were struggling. And Essendon, one of the other teams in the competition, was dominating. They were about to play Essendon on the next weekend, next game, and they had been beaten by Essendon every game since they played in recent times. Essendon were undefeated. Now, Supercoach Lee Matthews at the time, in the lead up to the game, as Alastair told us, felt that the team weren't really on board. The team didn't really believe they could beat Essendon. So instead of having this big goal, the coach brought it down into simple actions. And he broke it down into simple actions that every player had. So every player really had one job to do for the entire day. Yes, of course, the outcome was to kick enough goals as a team to beat Essendon. But given that he felt in the room that each player didn't believe that they could beat Essendon, all he did was bring it down to some goals, some simple actions. So for Alastair was saying that he was full forward. So the coach Lee Matthews said, Alastair, do you believe that when the ball comes into the forward 50, you can stand 10 metres out from goal and sprint on the lead? And if the ball comes to you, we'd love you to mark it. If not, just make sure it falls in front of you. And he said, Alastair, can you do that? So it wasn't Alastair, can you win the game off your own boot? It wasn't Alastair, can you kick 8 goals for the game to help us win? It's Alastair, can you run in a straight line? And as you jump at the ball, either mark it, if not tap it in front of you, that's it. And as Alastair said, he said, can I kick some goals? Lee said, no, that's all I want you to do. And then Coach Lee Matthews went to one of the other players, Rover, and said, as soon as the ball gets in our forward half, can you run directly in front of Alastair because the ball will come down in front, you'll pick it up and snap a goal. Can you do that? Can you run in front of Alastair, pick up the ball, snap, kick a goal? Yep, I can do that. One of the other forwards was asked, as soon as the ball comes in the forward half, can you lead out sideways to the wing so your opponent chases you? He said to that player, the plan isn't to kick to you unless you're completely free, but it's to create some space for Alistair to lead into. When Alistair leads into that, he'll mark it or drop the ball in front. The rover will pick it up and kick a goal. Lee Matthews said to that player, when the ball comes in our half, can you lead to the wing and take your player with you? He didn't even ask him to get a touch. And he went around the room to every single player and gave them one job to do. Yes, the bigger goal was to win premierships and to win the game against Essendon, but he broke it down to a small action, which was these simple actions. He went around to every player on the field. Now, the forward team just need to focus on their 2 or 3 forward mates. The centre and the mid players and the ruck players just need to focus on their 3 or 4 people and the one action that they need to do, same with the defensive group. So it's an example for us in business. Yes, we have these big goals, but how can we break them down into small actions that has our teams absolutely believing that they can take that action? Now, of course, every player on the Brisbane Lions team believed they could take that simple action, so they did it in the game. And that all culminated to beating Essendon and going on to win 3 premierships in a row in the early 2000s. So what can you do? What can you do to create these little actions? And by the way, as a reference material, and one of my mentors is Darren Hardy, who wrote The Compound Effect. And the compound effect is all about these small actions that sometimes seem inconsequential at the time, but they build up either way to move us towards our goals or to move us away from our goals. So for you and your team, what are the 1 or 2 actions that are simple to do and done on a regular basis consistently will move you to hitting target and your team to hitting target towards the end of the year and the new financial year? That you can make sure that they have buy-in in doing. Yes, the longer term plan is of course getting that budget or that target or that profitability or that number of clients or members. But to achieve that, what is that 1 or 2 things that you can communicate to your team that they know that they can achieve to get to that target? So put in the comments below, what are the 1 or 2 real simple things that you can do to accumulate over time and for your team to have buy-in to, so that in this new financial year, you'll take all those compounding actions to have the best financial year of your business so far. You guys have a great night. Go the Crows, and we'll see you next week for the Tuesday Tickle and Tick. Bye for now.